Hey, this is Seth, and in this video I want to share with you a boring but realistic side hustle that can make you between $50 and $100 an hour. This skill set is in high demand throughout the year by every single business regardless of the state of the economy. It does not require a college degree or a lot of formal training. The barrier for entry is very, very low. You can actually learn how to do this online. It offers you an opportunity to work on a flexible schedule and make a really good hourly rate. So I want to tell you what that is in just a moment. But before I dive in, please remember, if you like this content, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so you're always notified when I post more useful content. So what is this lucrative yet not that exciting side hustle? It is being a bookkeeper, which is essentially managing the transactions of a business. That includes income and expenses and making sure everything is accurately documented so that the company is able to file their taxes properly with the IRS, which is very, very important. Now, at first, I thought bookkeeping required a lot of technical training or an accounting degree, but throughout my career, I've met people who do bookkeeping on the side as a side hustle, making as much as $70 an hour. And these folks do not have an accounting degree. Some don't even have a college degree. They just learned how to do the skill for companies, provide value, make sure everything is done properly when they're filing their taxes, and they're able to earn this kind of income. Starting out as a bookkeeper is quite accessible. You can learn about the basics of accounting plus QuickBooks, which is the industry standard software, via Google, YouTube, online courses, and even your local community college. There are also specialized courses and organizations online that offer certifications, which can boost your credibility and your confidence when you're out there looking for clients. One of the best things about bookkeeping is flexibility. You're responsible for balancing your clients' books every single month, but you can do it on your own schedule. And I actually do recommend doing bookkeeping as a side hustle exclusively and not as a full-time job, because you'll actually make more money doing it directly with your own clients than you would in a full-time position. The main thing to remember is this: every single business in existence needs a bookkeeper, regardless of whether they're making a lot of money or even if they are losing money. Businesses have to file their taxes every single year by law, or they will get in trouble with the IRS or whatever government tax authority is in their particular country. And this is a global skill set. This can be done all over the world. Every country has taxes and bookkeeping. What makes this gig so consistent, in my opinion, is that regardless of a company's financial performance, whether they're making a lot of money, doing great, or whether they're losing money, they need a bookkeeper. The IRS does not care if you're making or losing money. They want to know how much you made, how much you lost, and there has to be an accurate record. So for some business offers, a company might say, hey, we don't have the budget for this thing or that thing, but every company has to have a budget for a bookkeeper, which means it's always in demand. Now, you can get started by checking out YouTube, Coursera, or Udemy for some bookkeeping courses. And again, the basics of this skill set are not that difficult to learn. You can also join professional organizations like the American Institute for Professional Bookkeepers, AIPB, or the National Association for Certified Public Bookkeepers, NACPB. And these organizations offer a lot of further resources on bookkeeping, networking, and they offer certifications which do boost your credibility when you're out there looking for clients. But what does a bookkeeper actually do in plain English? And well, I want to share with you a story of my own experience discovering what bookkeeping was as my business grew from just being, a startup to a six-figure-a-year business. And just a quick note, I am American, so I'm speaking about my experience as an American citizen with American taxes. Every country has bookkeeping and taxes, but you need to refer to your own country's laws to understand what is applicable to you. So everybody everywhere pays taxes. Now, if you're like most people, like I was 15 years ago, I just had jobs. And when you have a job, the government tries to make it relatively easy for you by taking your money out of your paycheck. When you get hired as an employee, you fill out what's called a W-4 in the US, and that authorizes the government to basically take estimated taxes out of your paycheck every week. So by the end of the year, you've already put aside most of the taxes that you owe, and then filing taxes is relatively easy. At the end of the year, you fill out a form 1040 or 1040EZ, but it's like a one-page form. It's very, very simple. But what if you do run a business and have additional income on top of your salary? This is the position I was in as a freelancer and someone with a side hustle back in 2010 when I started doing this stuff. Now, I had a day job, which was my main source of income, but I started selling online courses and running some affiliate blogs, and I was making extra income. Not a lot of money, but more money than just at my day job. So I filed my taxes almost the same as before, but I had to fill out an extra form called a Schedule C, which was an account of how much I was making with all of my side hustles. The cool thing about freelancing or having a side hustle is that you can write off off or deduct the expenses, the money that you spend trying to make your business profitable. So I was running affiliate blogs and selling an online course, so I had costs like web hosting. I paid a certain monthly fee for my web hosting. I had a service like Aweber, which was for my email marketing, and it wasn't a lot of money, but it was, $10 a month here, $20 a month, and all the money I spent on those services now I could deduct against my total income. Now, in the very beginning, I did all this stuff myself. I had a bunch of Google Sheets or Excel sheets. I would keep track of my expenses and my income, and I tried to manage all that stuff. As my business began to grow, I had more expenses and more sales. And at this point, the amount of transactions that were happening was getting more and more and more, and it was actually a very stressful experience for me to be both working my day job and running my business and keeping track of all these numbers. In fact, a couple years into my business, I still didn't have a bookkeeper, and at the end of the year in April, when it was time to file my taxes, I remember I was on the floor with like paperwork and on my computer and just really stressed out trying to figure out what the heck had happened all year because I had dropped the ball. So I actually ended up hiring a bookkeeper to do a retroactive bookkeeping, meaning I had to go back through all my checking account and all my PayPal and Stripe and everything and check out how much money I'd made, how much money I'd spent in the previous year. So hiring that bookkeeper was the best thing I ever did. The stress that I had been under that April was so intense, and I said, you know what, it's worth it for me to pay somebody to handle all these transactions all year. These are people that are professionals. They know all the rules of bookkeeping and taxes, things I don't know, and I can just hand everything off to them. They have a connection to my PayPal account, my checking account, my credit card, and they're just handling all this stuff so I can focus on my business. So you can be that detail-oriented person for another business. Now, I know a big question I'm sure a lot of people have is, do I have to be a math whiz to be a bookkeeper? And the answer is absolutely not. You do not need to know calculus, trigonometry, algebra, anything like that, but you do need to be comfortable with math and details and numbers. I'm talking about business math. This is mostly addition, subtraction. This is about making sure things balance out on a balance sheet and making sure you have an accurate account of things for the IRS. You're using QuickBooks, these software packages, most of the time. They're doing the calculations for you. What you need is to be very, very detail oriented. You need to be able to catch mistakes, ask questions, and understand all the math as it's going through. So you can't be freaked out by math. You can't be one of those people that say, oh, I hate math, I don't ever want to look at numbers. You obviously need to be comfortable with numbers, but you don't have to be a genius to do this job. The detail oriented thing is really, really important. Now, when I talk about an hourly rate of $50 an hour, $75 an hour, or even $100 an hour, I mean specifically as a freelance bookkeeper. You're not going to make that kind of money as a salaried employee. Most bookkeepers, when they're hired by a company, full-time salary position, they're making between $40,000, $60,000 a year, which is between $20 and $30 an hour, which is fine, but that's not what we're talking about. Because the company they're working for is the one who is acquiring the clients and also, of course, taking a percentage of that money for their own expenses, overheads, the management staff, and things like that, while the bookkeeper is doing all the work. You will be paid more as a freelancer and doing this as a side hustle because you are doing all the marketing yourself, and so that is a certain extra level of work, and then you of course receive all the money that the clients are paying you. And the amount of money you make per hour will be dependent on the types of clients you get, the rate you charge per month, and how much time you actually have to spend servicing each client. Some clients might require 10 hours of attention each month, depending on how big or small the business is. Some clients may only require 2 hours of service each month. If you spend 5 hours with a client each month and they pay you $300 a month, that's about $60 an hour. If you charge $500 a month and you spend 6 hours a month with their account, that's about $83 an hour. So you can see how this can vary, and there's many different combinations of how this could go down, but you can see that the earning potential is a lot higher as a freelancer. As I mentioned before, every business needs a bookkeeper, so this side hustle does not require aggressive selling. You can approach it like I mentioned in my PPC video with digital marketing, which is to approach with a very low-key attitude. You can talk to your social circle, your online social circle, or even businesses that you frequent. Bookkeeping is also something where companies may change bookkeepers regularly. I've changed bookkeepers a couple of times during the lifetime of my business. There's always opportunities to get a new bookkeeping client. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of great resources online on YouTube, Udemy, Coursera, free or low-cost programs on how to be a bookkeeper. But I want to recommend an additional resource, which is called the Bookkeeper Business Launch by Ben Robinson. Now, Ben has been running this program since 2017, and he has created hundreds of success stories of people he's helped build a profitable bookkeeping business from scratch. And his course is a lot like my course. It's a lot of no BS information. He teaches you not only the basics of bookkeeping and how to service the clients, but how to actually get the clients, the marketing aspect of things, and how to make your business more efficient, and contracts, all that type of stuff. Questions people definitely have as they're starting into this side hustle. And people always ask me, they say, hey Seth, you've been teaching people to get jobs in digital marketing since 2016. Why don't I just get on Udemy or YouTube and get a free or low cost course? And I say, you can do that. You definitely can, and you should definitely go that way if that's the way you want to go. I would just say that there is an incredible value in having somebody who knows what they're doing and has helped other people have success guide you along the way. It just increases the velocity of your success in my experience. But I would check out Ben's program. He's got a lot of great free resources. I think he has some introductory webinar as well. Ask him and his team questions. They're very active, and you can go, say, with him or YouTube or Coursera or any of these other resources. Whatever works best for you, I want you to do the research on your own and make a decision that works best for you. Regardless of which way you decide to go, I hope you understand why I think bookkeeping is a great skill set now and into the future. I also believe it is an AI-proof profession. To me, it is what I would call a high stakes profession. This is kind of like, I think, the law. We've had autopilot in airplanes since early 20th century. Actually, it was invented in 1912, believe it or not. But they didn't stop hiring pilots because we had autopilot. When something's very serious and important, AI and automation is going to have a very hard time replacing the human element. And for me, I would not trust an AI system to file my taxes or to do the books for my business, because I want a human person who's going to be accountable for that to be signing off on everything. So AI tools and automation have actually made bookkeeping more efficient so you can spend less time working on your clients. But I think it's always going to be in demand because, again, it's a high stakes thing. You don't want to have a situation where the AI or the software has made a mistake that nobody caught, and then you file your taxes with the IRS incorrectly. Now you could go to jail. And that's why, again, this is a high stakes profession that I think is still going to be very important now and into the future, and it's worth investing in. But do your own research. I hope this has opened your eyes and been useful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will see you in the next video.